you're interested in being a sidewalker, this video is going to show some basics of what you do as a sidewalker. Okay, this is how you fit a helmet on. We'll put it on, and whenever you buckle this, you want to make sure your hands is under her neck so that you don't pinch your skin. So you'll keep your two fingers there and then buckle it, and then turn around. There's a little twist knob back here. I don't know if you can see it with her bow. But you can tighten it and adjust it to loosen it or tighten it. And you don't have to worry about getting the helmet to fit perfectly because the instructor will always check it before. And then another thing here is want this piece to be right under her ear so it makes a nice V so that it holds the helmet in place. Some riders bring their own helmet, like Emily brought her own so that it was already adjusted to her. But lots of our riders use these helmets, and they sometimes know what size and they'll get it themselves, but sometimes they need help to get it on. So you want them to be able to put the helmet on themselves if they can, but if they need help, you're more than welcome to help them. So that's how you do that. Okay, we're going to talk about energy. Horses can feel a lot of energy around them. So in one lesson, they have a leader, 2 sidewalkers, and a rider, and the instructor. So that's like 4 or 5 people or whatever around them that the horse can feel. So whenever you're coming in from, whatever you're doing, you want to relax and leave it outside of the arena so that when you come in, you're more relaxed and calm, and so the horse doesn't feel what you're feeling. In a way that we greet our horses is a horse's handshake, which you put your hand in a fish, let him smell it, and then you can scratch him on his neck. Because we don't want a lot of people petting them on their face because that's a lot of hands on his face, and it's not very nice when you have 100 people doing that. So, and then whenever you are sidewalking, if the horse is getting quick and the instructor says take a deep breath, that doesn't include just the rider, it includes you too, because the horse can feel that. So we say take a deep breath, that means everybody takes a deep breath. And same as for if we need to speed up, we may say let's bring up a little bit of walk, pep to our step or whatever. Yeah, and then whenever you are sidewalking, you want to try not to face the horse, because we call this thing called belly button energy. So it's like there's a lot of energy coming out of your belly button. So like if I'm talking to Jay and if I'm looking at her, this is like a lot more tense versus if I'm just talking to her like this, it's more relaxed. So it's the same as when you're sidewalking with the horse. You don't want to be back here facing him, but you want to be faced more out. Now there are some times where you do have to turn towards them, and that's okay. But generally, you want to try to stay keeping your energy facing out. Okay, we're going to talk about the mounts now. So the first mount we're going to show is a crest mount, and that's for riders that are more stiff in their legs, so that they will sit down kind of like this and bring their leg over the front of his neck, which is called the crest. And so we'll show you how to do that. This process can be very slow and can take a long time, so we don't want to rush it because they may be very tight in their legs, and so you don't just want to pull their leg out because it may hurt. So Laura is going to be our offside sidewalker. The block is called our offside. So is what she is going to do when Emily gets on here, she is going to keep her hands on her back and support her back. And then she's going to move her leg over to help get her leg over the front of Shaq's neck. So we'll go ahead and show that. She's going to keep her hands, and Emily does this pretty quick. She's an expert at this. So that's cool. And then we always go to a thigh hold on our way out. So let's ask your voice. Good job. Walk. Now we're going going to show a croup mount, and this is just your traditional mount where your leg goes over the back of the horse. For the offside side walker, you can either hold the leather to offside it, or you can put your hand in the stirrup to keep the weight. That's if they are more independent riders, but if they need more support, you may need to help her leg come over the back. So Emily's more independent, so we will hold the stirrup leather. But you have the other hand free just in case you may use her leg. And then we go straight to a thigh hold. Yeah, sure. Please. And then the other side walker will be waiting over here by the reins. I'm just going to walk through. And she will take my place, but once we stop, we'll go ahead and stop. I'm going to take my place. Okay, and this is where we do all the cat checks, but checking the girth. So we'll go over the holds now. So we'll start with the most support hold and then go down to the least. So this is called a thigh and an ankle hold, which is where you just rest your forearm on her thigh, and then your outside hand comes and holds her ankle. Now when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're not back in Chuck's flank area. Laura's just standing back like that for now so that you can see the holds. And make sure you're not pulling the rider's legs out, or that you're pushing a lot of pressure down on the rider's leg as well. And then you also want to make sure that you're not holding, like sticking your hands in the saddle and stuff, because that can be uncomfortable for Shaq. So you can just kind of put your hand in a fist and just rest it there. Okay, so that's a thigh and ankle hold, and then we'll go to just a thigh hold, which is just your forearm on her thigh. And then we'll go to an ankle hold, which is where you just hold the back of her ankle. And this one, you really want to be careful not to be pulling her leg out or moving it around, because it's very easy to. And then the next one, or walking back, you want to stay right next to the rider's leg. And then the next one is a shadow, which is with no holds, and you just stand right next to the rider without holding on at all. Now this one can be very tricky because it's easy to kind of drift away. So you just want to make sure that you are staying right with the horse and the rider the whole time, right next to their legs. When you're doing a thigh hold, your arm might get tired, so we do allow you to switch sides if you're tired. You can just let the instructor know, and then we will switch places. So this is how you will do a switch. So we'll say, Laura, your arm's tired.
I'm tired.
Okay. So I'm going to come around behind and take her place, and then she's going to walk around the front of the horse. You don't want to walk around behind the horse. And she's going to take Anne's place. And then Anne's going to come around, and she's going to walk behind me and take my place. And that way the rider had support the whole entire time. Here's a couple of things you don't want to do as a sight walker, such as picking up a toy and leaving your client. So make sure not to leave your rider to avoid objects.
Wow.
Instead, you can ask your leader to stop or to go around it. So whenever we do stop, you do want to make sure you still continue to hold the hold that you're doing, because the rider still needs that support even if they are at a stop. So you do want to make sure when you are side walking that you try to keep your conversations at a minimal.
Did you watch that show last night?
Yeah.
Jade, that movie. Oh, it was.
To see right now how no one they're not paying attention to the rider and they're not doing their holds.
I love it. Look at your name color.
So when you are sidewalking, you want to make sure to check on your rider every 3 to 5 seconds to make sure that they're still in the middle and that they're balanced. And if they are slid off to the side a little bit, you don't want to move them there, but you can just tell the leader, you know, hey, Emily's a little off balance, can we stop? And then you can let the instructor know too, so the instructor can come over and they can either adjust them or they can ask the rider to adjust them, because some of the riders are learning how to get in the middle themselves. So we don't want to always move them because then they won't learn how to do that themselves. So Laura's doing a great job about checking Emily every 3 to 5 seconds, and she's maintaining that hold and staying right next to the rider's leg. She's not pulling it out or anything like that. So we're going to do a group dismount. This is what most of our riders do, and for this, the rider, the sidewalker on the other side, is going to just kind of help support the leg over, and some of them may not need help, but today we're going to pretend like Emily does need help to show you. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to take Laura's place, and she can step back and just wait over the front. We're going to take her feet out of the stirrups, or let Emily take them out. So I'm going to look at Anne and see if her feet are out of the stirrups. And so she's nodding her head saying yes, because sometimes I may ask the rider and they may say yes, even though the foot is not. So we put your reins up. Lean forwards. And Anne's just going to help push that leg over and she slides down. So we're going to show how to do an emergency dismount. Sometimes we do have emergencies here when we do need to get the rider off right then and there. The instructor will say riders down, and if the instructor says that, the emergency designated person is going to take them off. When we first start getting on at the ramp, the instructor will designate who is the emergency dismount person. So let's pretend there's another sidewalker on that side, and I'll say, Anne, you're the emergency dismount person. So in case of an emergency, she is the one that is going to get the rider off. Now, if something happens like the horse spooks and the rider goes off that way, it doesn't mean that you can't take them. If the rider's coming to you, you get the rider even though you're not the emergency dismount person. But for the purposes of, if we say rider's down, the emergency dismount person gets them. So what she's going to do, she's going to grab by the hips, pull, and walk back. And if there's another sidewalk on the other side, they will take the reins out of her hands and take her foot out of the stirrup. Now if her foot's not out of the stirrup, that's okay, because we have safety stirrups and they all have rubber bands on them, or most of them do, and if not, it's some type of safety stirrup, so her foot will come out. So we'll go ahead and show this. Rider's down. And she walks back, and then the leader will walk towards and turn and face the client, depending on the situation. And so that's how you do your emergency dismount. Now we're going to do a crest dismount at the ramp, which only a few of our riders do this. So Laura is going to stay with Emily all the way and walk up on the block, and Anne, who's on the other side, she's going to walk as far as she can, but she's going to stop about when we get to the rail so that she doesn't get squished in there. So we'll go ahead and walk. So now is about where Anne will step back, and then Laura is going to hold the whole time. And then we're going to take their feet out of the stirrups. And then it's the same thing as getting on. We're going to go over very slowly. She's keeping a hand on her back, bringing her leg over, and sliding down. Very good.